Welcome into DC On Screen episode 377. This is our recap and review of Arrow 520. Underneath, I am your host, David C. Robertson. This, my co-host, Jason Goss.
Hello.
To recap, the rest of the team tries to extract Oliver and Felicity from the bunker, but it becomes clear that Adrian has rigged one hell of a trap. Olicity works out some of their differences from the Felicity walkout and the constant Oliver lies. Also, John and Lyla work out some differences about false imprisonment and gray areas. The team manages to rescue Olicity, but it appears William, Oliver's son, is in trouble because Adrian has found him. Okay, so bottle episode.
It is. It's a bottle episode, so they can kind of deal with the Olicity fallout.
Yes. And maybe even start it up again. It looks like they're on the path to that.
I didn't actually anticipate XX, but apparently that's a thing.
Oh, yeah. I liked this episode. Arrow's still going strong for me.
Oh, yeah. It's a good episode. It's just, is it weird that it's like a good episode and I don't feel like there's a lot to talk about?
There's not a lot to talk about. I thought it was interesting to go back and see Felicity trying to convince, very reluctant Oliver that he needs a team against the current day team actively saving Oliver and Felicity.
Yep.
I enjoyed that a lot. I liked, Curtis as usual.
Oh, yeah. Curtis just being Curtis is fantastic.
I liked Dig begrudgingly admitting that he should trust his wife as much as he does Oliver.
Actually, that was maybe my favorite moment in the episode later when, he sends in the T-sphere with the adrenaline shot, and he's like, you have to inject that into Oliver. Whoa!
Yeah.
She just goes for it.
Yeah. Well, that has nothing to do with what I was talking about, but okay.
Sorry. You brought up Curtis, and I was like, no, that was my favorite part. I mean,
oh, no.
Let me interject.
I brought up Dig in between the Curtis. But,
oh, yeah. No, Dig and Lila's thing was pretty good this episode, too.
Yeah, last week we talked about how stupid it was that Ollie and Dig were such dicks to their women. Not necessarily their women, but you know what I mean. The
partners.
Parallel. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. I liked that that's where Lyla took it, as opposed to like, hey, you had a black site with your brother in it, you jerk.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, she's right, though. It's not like the team has acted ostensibly different from the way Argus acts sometimes. She's absolutely right. But I like the way she approaches it. She just gives them the set of files of possible questionable decisions and says, do your research. To me, I thought that was a cool way to dig in their relationship. She's not going to defend herself. She's just going to give him all the information. Let's just do this. Mm-hmm. Let's put it out there and do it. Here's everything you might be worried about. Let's talk.
Yeah. I like
Very proactive. Loved it. I've always loved Lyla. That was this was a great example of why I've always loved Lyla.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Back to X-Sex, though. I just kept thinking, oh my gosh, Oliver's scars. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
That was just rough.
I just feel I feel bad for him having to show up 3 hours early to the set, probably, to get scars put on when he has to do a shirtless scene.
I don't feel bad for him. He'll look back on that in his old age and be like, God, I look like a badass.
I know. And to be fair, it's better than when he had to show up 6 hours before, probably, so they could do the shirtless and the tattoos.
Mm-hmm.
The tattoos being gone has cut down on his when he has to show up on set, probably a good bit.
Oh, yeah. So, those climbing scenes where he had Felicity on his back and then, they're hanging and all of that looked rough. It looked absolutely painful and perfect.
It did, and
great.
I he pulls her with that one arm over his shoulder, and I kind of Stephen Amell just made me buy it. He made me buy that he could do that, and especially with the adrenaline shot. I mean, that's not unbelievable with his, physique. It's not it's not like the, Rivers Cuomo pulled someone over his freaking shoulder. It's like Stephen Amell did.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it looked good. It was I thought it was pretty good action.
And what did you think of Stephen Amell? First of all, what did you think of the line, I've always trusted you, I don't trust myself, as an explanation for his lies and his, seeming distrust and inability to back Felicity's plays?
Well, he preambles that with admitting to her the thing that he spent so much time dealing with this season is I enjoyed killing. Mm-hmm. And then there's a little bit of dialogue between, but then he gets to I'll always trust you. I don't trust myself.
Yeah.
I dug it. I mean, it's unfair to put that on her. Like, if I was a relationship counselor, I would be sitting them down going, okay, you need to work on that for you, and you need to love her for her. And
which is basically what she came to at the end of the episode and what she told him.
Yeah.
It was like, you got to figure out stuff about yourself.
Yeah. Well, at the end of the episode, she also says, and she admits her fault here, like, I walked, that was wrong, I'm sorry. And then she kind of goes on and says, like, I'm not saying never. But, like, yeah, they both have stuff they have to work on. Like, she handled that poorly. She shouldn't have walked that way. It wasn't the right way to, like, exit the relationship. She should have sat down and had this. But to be fair, he puts her through so much that, like, if she needs to just walk and deal with it, you almost have to give it to her.
Yeah.
Because, like you pointed out, I mean, we're talking about a guy who enjoys killing, and she's the thing he leans on to be, like, his moral compass. Like, that's not fair. That's like, that really is the equivalent of, like, an alcoholic asking his wife to keep him from drinking. That's not fair. You got to take that on yourself.
Yeah.
Like, that's something they're going to have to work through, but it's like, she does. She points it out to him that, like, that's something you've got to work on, and then maybe we can be we again.
Yeah.
Made sense. It's far, like, it's a bottle episode, and there's a lot to it, and, like, if we just wanted to, like, sit here and do quotes all day, it would be a longer thought process, I guess, or a longer conversation than normal. But, like, bottom line is, I thought they summed up a lot of their problems pretty well.
Yeah.
I thought it was well written. It was enticing.
And oddly enough, I feel with this episode, if they ever do, which I'm sure they will, if they ever actually get back to Olicity proper, they've earned it with this episode.
Yeah. Oh, and she gives him an outline. She gives him a little, like, valve somewhere in the middle of this, scene. She tells him, like, you've spent a decade dealing with horrors that most people didn't even realize existed. The fact that you're not a monster and ... Like, she gives him, like, a little bit of rope.
She got the tiniest peek of that.
Yeah. Yeah, she had the tiniest peek at what it is he deals with and all that. Yeah. Like, it was a great episode as far as them getting back together. It didn't advance the story a lot until the last few seconds, but it was something that needed to be dealt with, and I thought they did a great job dealing with it. Like, calling this a bottle episode is absolutely not a knock.
Yeah. I kind of feel like they went through an unnecessary bit in the last episode or two, building up the problems with Dig and Lyla, just so they could have a good parallel and some other stuff to fill in on this episode.
Well, I'm glad they did it, though, earlier, just so that we aren't able to sit here and complain that, like, oh, it just came up now. I'm glad they foreshadowed it.
But it still makes little sense, considering that Dig would be so angry about it. But again, I guess it's the same argument that, Oliver has. I don't want you to become me. Well, too bad, buddy.
Well, he does, though. Like, Diggle has a good point. Like, when you took over, you said you weren't going to be, what's her name? I'm blanking. Sorry.
Amanda Waller.
Thank you. You said you weren't going to be Waller, and then now you're making very Waller-esque decisions. Mm-hmm. Like, I could see that being something. I am the
Waller. Cuckoo.
If Lyla had responded with that at some point, she would have A, been my favorite character in all fiction, and B, the show would be over.
I don't know. I don't know that the show would be over.
I would have said, like, nope, that's too far. That's weird.
Are you talking about our show or their show?
No, their show. That would have been, like, too far for their... Now, the thing is, though, like, if it was Cisco and he was hanging out in the background of that conversation and he just said, like, she's the Waller. Cuckoo. Like, if he had done it, that would have been like, yeah, it's fine. But if Lyla had done it, nope. Shark jumped. Refrigerator thrown.
They've already had the shark jumped, and Diggle was there for it. So was Lyla. You recall?
Yeah, I know. But that made sense.
Did it?
It did.
Did a giant man shark swimming after Barry make that much sense?
They made it look great.
They did.
Those some of the best effects I've seen in a long time. Like, I hope it got nominated for a technical Emmy. I didn't look, but I hope it did.
So, yeah, I think this was a good episode. It was fun, at least. And I am loving Curtis and Wild Dog together. They're a lot of fun. Still not a lot.
They are. They're one of my favorite on-screen pairs right now.
Yeah. There's still not a lot going on with the new Black Canary, Dinah.
No, she's got to kind of earn her place. And also, every single episode, I keep thinking, you promised Rory would be back.
Yeah, and right now,
It's not during the episode, mind you. Like, during the episode, I'm like, oh, this is great. And then it gets to the end of the episode, I'm like, wait, but you made me a promise. And you've only got a couple left.
Uh-huh. So, I don't think we'll see Rory again. Unless it's like a, final showdown. Hey, guys, I'm back. But his powers don't work. The rags are dead.
I'll be honest. So, he was funny enough as is. I don't care.
Yeah. I didn't think he was that funny. He was just kind of there. He was fine. I enjoyed him.
I really thought he was funny. I thought he did a good job of, like, hanging lanterns on how weird the situation was getting sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, a Felicity line. You were talking about the scene in the shaft and all that, like the elevator shaft.
Uh-huh.
She points out, like, I've always appreciated the salmon ladder, but never so much at this moment.
Right.
And I was watching that with my wife, and she kind of looked up and went, yeah.
I enjoyed seeing Felicity on the salmon ladder.
That was funny, too. It's like, you just have to do a pull-up with flair. Well, I can't quite do a pull-up. Okay.
Flourish.
With flourish, yeah. Yeah.
I don't know what I was saying earlier.
I'm sure I knocked you out. Oh, by the way, something that bothered me the entire episode. Tell me if I heard this wrong.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure Oliver says nuclear blasts.
He does.
Come on, dude. Come on, man.
Yeah. Oh, I was saying, we haven't really gotten a lot of character growth or anything on Black Canary, but she is an actual cast member next season.
Yeah, she's regular. She's signed up as a regular, right?
Yeah, so I'm sure we'll get more of her on that one in that season. But again, they're playing into her and Diggle, having a lot of chemistry. Wendy Miracle is saying, they don't have any plans at the moment to, break Lyla and Dig up and put those two together, and I hope they don't.
No, I really don't. I like the idea, though, that they're kind of kindred spirits. I mean, I like them. I like them being bros. I don't want them together.
Yeah.
Diggle and Lyla, we spent so much time, like, worrying about them. Like, just let that be. And Lila's amazing.
Yeah.
And even in this episode, they spent so much time, like, at some point, Diggle even admits, like, that he pretty much lives in morally gray areas, and he just he's going to have to learn how to deal with that. It's like, that's fantastic. Like, seriously, again, if I was a relationship counselor, and he came to that conclusion during one of my sessions when they left, I would pop a bottle of champagne and go, my job here is done.
Yeah. Look, at the end of this thing, I fancy the notion that, Dig and Lyla kind of just give up the life and go off to raise their kid. You know what I mean?
If they ever did, I wouldn't mind it.
Yeah, I feel like that's like the ending for them.
Like, I kind of hope that is the ending for them, just because they both give off the vibe that they're doing this because they think it's the right thing to do and they're noble, but they would really just like to have a simple life.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I hope they can.
Yeah, unless they just really, sell me on the fact that this is in their blood and this is what they got to do.
They haven't. That's not the way they built the characters, I think, so far. Like,
yeah,
the Green Arrow
Oliver and Felicity that way.
Yeah, the Green Arrow is built to be the Green Arrow. That's who he is now. That's who he became. It's kind of a little bit always who he was. Like, always needed to be involved in things, but he didn't really know who he was till he got on the island and went through all that stuff. But by the way, no flashbacks this episode, were there? Oh, not Russia flashbacks.
11 months ago.
Yeah.
Well, they needed a transition because, we saw him with Anatoly, and he was like, hey, I need to go back to the island, blah, 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 so.
Yeah. Well, I just kind of want, like, a couple more establishing shots of him on the island and, how to get the beard and all that stuff.
I think there's going to be more to it than that.
Yeah. Just kind of occurred to me. We didn't get any more, like, Anatoly or anything. And, man, I'm going to be sad when Anatoly's gone. I like that guy.
Yeah.
I mean, the story's been told, and don't push it if it's not there. It's fine. It's just, it's okay to miss things, and it'd be okay. I mean,
sure. But, what, we got, like, 2-3 episodes left?
I think 3.
Mm-hmm.
What is it?
Looks like next week is, it looks like Samson is back and he's working with Chase.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, 3. It ends on the 24th. There's not any breaks.
So, yeah.
I can verify it real quick.
We don't have long to go, guys. Not on DCTV CW stuff.
Yeah, it's lining up. Like, the CW stuff is going to end at pretty much that last week in May. The last full week in May is pretty much where everything's going to line up. Yeah, you've got 3 straight weeks. It's going to end on the 23rd. Now, the next 3 weeks, though, are called Honor Thy Fathers, Missing, and Leon Yu. So I guess I'm going to get my wish about that flashback stuff.
Oh, yeah. They even said that there's going to be extra footage that we didn't see in the pilot.
Good. I kind of hope we see like some
same point.
Straight footage from the pilot interjected into it, though. You know,
I think there will be. Yeah.
I want it to just.
But with extra
I want it to seamlessly merge, and yes, if you can make some new stuff happen on top of that, well done.
Yeah.
And this season, these guys are on point. I have faith in them.
I don't know. This is kind of where they choked last season.
They actually began choking before this, I think.
They did.
It was kind of going downhill. Right now, it's still just kind of nailing it. Yeah, I have more faith in Arrow right now than I've ever had before. Honestly.
Yeah, I actually have more faith in them this season than I do the Flash, which is saying something.
Yeah, that's weird. It's God, I've almost forgotten how long it's been now. It's been like 6 or 8 weeks of episodes where I just thought, God, how was Arrow the best show on TV this week? Because it used to be almost unprecedented, and then it became like a streak, and now it's become almost a norm.
Yeah, we'll see if that continues to be the case. I'm excited to see all this stuff coming to a conclusion for a few months.
Yeah.
And not just because I'm tired.
Not just because we're exhausted. And even then, though, you realize we get to see this come to a conclusion, and then there's still like a few weeks of the Fox shows. So.
Oh yeah, I can do that standing on my head, dude. That's fine.
But the CW verse, all wrapped around.
We were off for a couple of months with this stuff, just like 2 weeks ago, and like I'm posting on Instagram, feeling antsy. Like, I need shows to watch.
And then they all come back and you're like, I'm so tired. Oh my God, I need a nap.
We need to podcast about something. Quick. And like the shows come back and I'm like, oh, God, I wish I had some time.
No, it may needs to be over.
It's a weird life I lead.
Yep. I understand.
Anyway, I'm going to call it. Good episode.
Not ours. That's up for you to decide. Good episode of Arrow.
Yeah, not ours. I'll just go ahead and decide. Not ours. But Arrow, yeah.
Yeah.
We are DC On Screen, though, and you can find every episode at dconscreen.com. And this free. They're all free. All 377 episodes. Proud members of the Giant Size Team Up Network, GiantSizeTeamUp.com. You can catch us on Twitter or Facebook at DC On Screen. We're also on Instagram, DC On Screen. That's just one word, DC On Screen. And we'll be coming back with a couple of news episodes, probably on Tuesday, maybe Wednesday. You know how we do. But until then, we love you, and keep some DC on your screen.
Bye.